Hey guys, RTT back here for that video. Guys, today we have a review from PCMagazine.com who actually goes ahead and talks about the Galaxy Z Fold and benchmarks it versus other smartphones out there, including the Galaxy Z Flip 3 and Z Fold 3. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So starting off with the way, this is the review. So shout out to PC Mag and shout out to Shashua Sagan, who goes ahead and posts this review. As you guys can see, the cons are very expensive, heavy, and some applications are buggy. For the pros here, we have fast and powerful, useful multi-window mode, excellent signal strength, and fully usable with one hand. Of course, that would be when the phone is in fact closed. So very expensive. We talked about it many times. The price tag of this phone is absolutely crazy, but it does make sense for how high-end it truly is. The fact that it's heavy is kind of funny because I think it's only a little bit heavier than the Z Fold 3. And then some applications are buggy. This kind of goes with the Surface Duo 1, Surface Duo 2, and this phone. Not as many applications are fully optimized for these foldable phones, and that will just simply take time before every single app developer jumps on the bandwagon of, hey, listen, they gotta kick this foldable phone movement into gear. With that being said, though, let's go and look at, as this bad boy just popped up, let's go ahead and look at this down here. So this is going to go ahead and be the benchmarks for the Z Fold 4, Z Flip 4, and the comparisons to other smartphones on the market. So as you guys can see, the top dog right there is the iPhone 13, which does come in at a multi-score score of 4629 and a single core score of 1721. And of course, they do have the machine learning score also, which is very good for 924 for the iPhone. So we have the Z Flip 3, the Z Fold 3, the S22 Plus, the OnePlus 10T, and the Z Flip 4 and the Z Fold 4. Now, even though, yes, they're at the bottom, that's not meaning that they're the worst. It's just how they have it all set up together. With that being said, though, as you guys can see, the Z Fold 3 does come in at 3432 for multi-core, while the Z Fold 4 comes in at 4016, which of course is around 600 plus better of a multi-core score than the Z Fold 3. For the Z Fold 4, it is going to go ahead and come in at, Z Fold 3 is going to come in at 1131 for single core versus the Z Fold 4 coming in at 1325 for multi-core. So plus 200 single core score for the Z Fold 4 versus Z Fold 3. And for the Flip 3 to Flip 4, we of course do have a 3419 for multi-core and a 4000 for single core, so 581 better. And then for the single core here, we have 890 versus 1298, which of course is going to be around 300 more for single core. So definitely an upgrade. Obviously, you know, not insane upgrade, but definitely a good enough upgrade to justify going from the Z Fold 3 to Z Fold 4. Snapdragon Gen 1, definitely an absolute monster, and it's being shown off in both of these brand new Z Fold and Z Flip phones. So how does it compare to other phones on the market? Well, if we go ahead and look at the Z Fold 4, that's 4016 multi-core. You compare that to the iPhone, that's 4629. It obviously on paper is not going to be going ahead and comparing with Apple's chip. You know, at the end of the day, the M1, the M2, the A16 Bionic chip, whatever Apple goes ahead and puts out is very, very powerful. Now, you got to keep in mind, though, when you are using something like the Z Fold 4 versus like the S22, a lot of times they do benchmark worse because they have a lot more things that they're powering than an iPhone. So the iPhone has one display, it's powering, while the Z Fold 4 is powering an outside display and pretty much two inside displays put together. So sometimes that's why benchmarks are kind of like messed up or not as great as you would think they would be with how powerful that device actually is. But even with that being said, I mean, it's only 600 off an iPhone, which is actually not bad at all. And then the single core is 1300 versus 1700, which again, 400 for the iPhone, which is kind of what we expect. Now, looking at it compared to these other phones, which again, none of these do have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor, but again, still kind of cool to look at. The S22 Plus, which is a phone I looked at on the channel and I absolutely adored. The Z Fold 4 is going to come in at plus 600 for multi-core and plus 100 for single core. So a lot more of a comparison right there than, of course, the other phones on this list right here. I really do wish they would have shown off the S22 Ultra, but my guess would be it's probably be very similar to the iPhone 13. So there wouldn't be much of a reason to put it on there. But like I said before, very interesting. I'm definitely going to say right now that I was not expecting the Z Fold to actually be this comparable. And it's not this, taking a shot at the Z Fold in any way, saying, oh, the Z Fold's not good enough. Z Fold's not, the greatest phone ever. I think, in my opinion, Z Fold 3 is the best phone ever made. Z Fold 4 is even improving on that. Nonetheless, though, I didn't realize how powerful this bad boy is. Because keep in mind, the Samsung Z Fold 4 has 12 gigabytes of RAM versus 6 on an iPhone. Obviously, yes, the iOS system is a lot more, less complex, more, kind of like unilized. Can't think of a word to say. More like, simplistic, right? So it doesn't need all that gigabytes of RAM when you are using the OS. When you're gaming, you obviously need more gigabytes of RAM. But it's amazing how powerful the Z Fold 4 actually is. Because while, yes, the iPhone is better in plus 600, plus 400, the thing has so much more when it comes to power. All right, so here is the PCMark Work 3.0 test. And as you guys can see, the actual Z Fold 4 is going to be coming in here at number 1 as the most powerful phone on this list, which does not include the iPhone 13. Makes sense. GFX Bench 5, which does now include the iPhone 13. Of course, the Z Fold 4 is going to be coming in at 79, which is the best out of all these options here. And then, of course, their off-screen score, on-screen and off-screen score is pretty much the same, very similar to a lot of these other phones. Actually, wait, we have Z Fold 4 and then Z Fold 4 closed. Okay, so Z Fold 4 45 is actually less than the iPhone, but closed, of course, the inside display, outside display. So, interesting. The outside display is a lot more powerful than the inside display, which kind of does make sense. Because again, the phone has to run an inside display that is 6.7 inches. So, keep that in mind. And then for our CPU throttling test, it looks like we have the Galaxy S22 Plus. We have no iPhone, but we do have the Z Fold 4 here, and that's going to go ahead and blow out of the water not every single phone here. Wow, the OnePlus 10T actually doing pretty dang good. And surprisingly enough, the Z Flip 4 is above the what's called Z Fold 4, although it says throttling test. Nonetheless, though, guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'm definitely interested in your thoughts and opinions here. What are you guys thinking? Z Fold 4, Z Fold 3. Which one would you pick up right now? Because obviously, you guys see the benchmarks, right? You see how much more of an improvement the Z Fold 4 is than the Z Fold 3. But is it enough of an improvement for you to actually go ahead and pick it up? Tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys next one. Peace out.